Wait a second. I might have just stopped recording. What did I just do? I'm good. Okay. All right. So guys, if you've been paying attention, you were here for the first lecture and you just saw just this growth of federal spending to the states, right? We talked about crack.
Yeah.
That was in here. Hey, what's up?
Hi, I think Mr. Shelton radioed you.
Okay. Everything all right?
Yeah, we
Finish
have
it.
a lab.
Lab?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all good. So guys, I mean, a lot of what I've talked about is just that impact with that money is regulations, rules that we have to follow at the state and local level, right? So a lot of what I've been talking about kind of negative tone to it, because I don't really like that. I think, leave the money in the states, let them decide how to use the money. The federal government's controlling too much of our lives. That's just my opinion. That's my feeling, okay? But there are some real good positives that come out of this relationship, okay? So when we start here, talk about things like environmental codes, okay? So every state has a baseline when it comes to the environment. So like how much industry is allowed to pollute. That's a national standard. If you didn't have a national standard, you could take a state like Mississippi. Say Mississippi is economically depressed, which it is, okay? They don't have a lot of industry there. But if Mississippi could lower its environmental standards, it could bring industries, factories into its state, providing all these jobs. Guys, it's expensive to be clean, to not pollute. So let's say you have a factory or a plant and you have wastewater because you need water for the processes in your plant. What do you do with the wastewater? Just dump it in the river, put it in the ground so that it pollutes the groundwater that people drink, kills the fish in the river. There's laws against that. So in order to deal with this wastewater, you're gonna have to clean the water, which is expensive. Same thing when you're emitting emissions into the air, you've got to control those emissions. Now, if one state could say, hey, screw it, you can pollute in our rivers, you can put whatever you want in the air, just bring your jobs here. Guys, air pollution travels across state lines. And so does river pollution. Okay, it goes downstream. So this is a good thing so that everybody has the same standards to start with. Now, some states like California, they go above and beyond what the federal government says. So gasoline prices out in California, guys, a hell of a lot more expensive than they are here. You know what city has the cheapest gas prices in America?
Kansas?
Tulsa, Oklahoma. You guys ever been down Bartlesville area?
Where?
Bartlesville, Oklahoma? It's just north of Tulsa. You know where Tulsa is? Oklahoma is straight south.
Yeah.
Tulsa's kind of northeast Oklahoma, okay? They have oil refineries there where they turn the oil into gasoline. And so when you're delivering the gasoline, you just got to deliver it down the street. It's cheap. You deliver it to Wichita, it's a couple hours. It's cheap. We have cheap gas in Wichita compared to other parts of the country, okay? In California, they have to burn cleaner fuel, which means it's been processed more to take more of the pollutants out, which makes it more expensive. Every summer, guys, gasoline prices will jump a little bit because we're required by the federal government to burn cleaner fuel in the summertime. Because of all the heat in the atmosphere in the summertime, you want less pollution because it affects the air you breathe, okay? So, sometimes during the summer, they give you warnings about, hey, the air's not healthy to breathe right now, today, okay? It's air pollution, okay? So in the summertime, when you're filling up your gas tank, and it's 100 degrees outside, try and fill up your gas tank early in the morning when it's cool or late in the evening when it's cool. Because when those fumes and the heat, even when you're just pumping gas or running your lawnmower, it's bad for the environment, okay? Now, I'm not some kind of tree hugger type person, okay? But I do care about clean air, clean water, you know what I mean? And there's sensible things we can do, like recycle, I got no issue with that. Now, we're not recycling anymore. I don't know why. I guess it's too expensive.
Put trash cans in?
Yep. But we're not creating as much trash as we normally do. You're just doing it at home. Okay. So that's a smart thing to do. Okay. Here's another one. And this, what? Okay, over here. This is huge. Okay. That federal umbrella, that national government umbrella, okay, it protects your rights. No matter what state you're in, whether you're in Alabama, South Carolina, or Georgia, you have the same rights as anybody else in the rest of the country. Now, for many years, decades, centuries in this country, we didn't give everybody the same rights. Okay? That 14th Amendment I keep talking about, that equal protection under the law for all citizens, that amendment, we ignored it. About 1950, we started paying attention to that amendment. Okay? And ever since then, the federal government has had the back of citizens in states like Mississippi and Alabama, where they were mistreated by their states. So now the federal government backs up your rights. Okay? Everyone. Yes? And that's a good thing, man. It's a good thing. So the federal government, for me, is not all bad. I mean, we've got to pay taxes. We got to have government. It's got to do stuff. The argument is just about how much they do and how much involvement they have in the states and how much the states get to make their own decisions. And that's the argument of federalism. Okay? Got a couple more slides, I think 3, and then we're done. Tomorrow, I really don't know what I'm doing for first or 7th hour, but you will not have to watch a video tomorrow. Okay? I know some of you don't, so it doesn't matter, but there won't be a video for tomorrow. Okay? Monday and Tuesday will be reviewed. And we'll test Thursday and Friday next week. And then what, we have 2 days and then Thanksgiving? Does that sound right?
All right.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun. Hey, it's all about attitude. If you got a crappy attitude, you're going to have a crappy time. If you have a good attitude, man, you're going to have a good time. Sometimes you got to fake it. I've been working my ass off the last 3 days. Last night I went home, I got papers to grade. I said, screw it. I'm not grading any papers. I'm tired. Sometimes you got to take a break. Sometimes you got to fake it. I'm tired. But I'm smoking it right here. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to talk about laboratories of democracy. You ready? Yeah. This is good stuff right here. This is a bonus right here of federalism. Okay? Now, this goes back to what I talked about earlier at the first day of this chapter. It talks about subsidiarity of the Catholic Church, which none of you knew what that was. Whoever's closest to the problem solves the problem. St. Francis has an issue. Father Lees doesn't call the Pope. He doesn't call the bishop. He deals with the problem there. Follow me? So when we have a homeless problem in Wichita, we don't call Washington, D.C. Okay? Now, if we allow states and local governments to choose their own methods of solving problems, you might come up with some really good ideas instead of a one-size-fits-all for everybody. So states get to experiment with different ideas. That's what you do in a lab, isn't it? You do experiments, okay? In the early 90s, the federal government said to the states, look, if you want to experiment with some new welfare rules, we'll let you do it. See if you can make it work. See, guys, since the 1960s, the number of people on welfare was just growing and growing and growing and growing, and people were abusing the system. And whole generations of families were dependent on the government for their subsistence, which is not healthy for people. So they said, the governor of Wisconsin, the governor of Michigan, tried some new things out to try and get people from welfare to work, to be self-sufficient. What they did is they said, you can't be on welfare in our state for more than 5 years in your lifetime. No more than 2 years at any given time. And if you want to receive welfare benefits, you have to have a job or be going to school to improve your lot in life. So you can't just sit around and collect a check every month. We're not going to let you do that anymore. Guess what? People got off their duffs. Okay? It worked in Michigan and Wisconsin. And President Clinton, who was a Democrat and a Republican Congress in 1994, took over under a guy named Newt Gingrich. They had something called the Contract with America. 10 points. This is what we're going to do. Republicans won both houses of Congress for the first time in 40 years. They said, we're going to give power back to the states. And they said, take this welfare reform that's working in Michigan and Wisconsin, and you other states, if you want to adopt this, you can adopt it too. And so all the states adopted this welfare reform. President Clinton signed it into law. Now, the First Lady, she didn't like this. People were worried that millions of people were going to wind up homeless, hungry, in the streets. This is going to be a disaster. It's not what happened. Millions of Americans got off of welfare and went to work, went to school. It's called tough love. The tough love approach, right? You guys get any tough love at home? Huh? Just had that conversation with my son. He's home from college, trying to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning playing video games. What are you freaking kidding me? You get some sleep, son. Get up, do some stuff around the house. Who's paying the bills around here? Mama not happy, nobody's happy. Get her off my ass. Waking me up at 1:30 in the morning. Your son's down there playing video games. That was last night. It was 3:30 the morning before. I'm trying to get some sleep, honey. Why don't you go tell me? That was me last night. Good day. Okay? It's acting like a bum. All right, now, so this worked, right? So, sometimes we can call states what? Laboratories of democracy. Sometimes we refer to laboratories of democracy as what? States. Got it? We'll see. Okay. We talked about checks and balances, right? This federalism is another check on government. So let's say the Democrats get in power and they propose an amendment in Congress that says we're going to get rid of the Electoral College. Okay? Or we're going to pack the Supreme Court. We're going to pass an amendment, change the Constitution. Do the states have to ratify? You need 3/4 of states to ratify. There's no way you're changing the Electoral College. You're not going to get 38 states to agree to that. So it's a check against federal power. The Electoral College protects the states. Okay? It protects the small states from the big states. Follow me? Now, some people don't like it. You guys need an election update? Holy crap.
I said do that.
You've been checking in every now and then? Trump just tweeted. I mean, he's making an accusation, and I don't know if he can back it up. Let me read it to you. Have you guys heard about these voting machines? It's a company called Dominion. Dominion deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. Data analysis finds 221,000 in Pennsylvania votes switched from President Trump to Biden. 941,000 Trump votes deleted. States using Dominion voting system switched 435,000 votes from Trump to Biden. You know that situation there was a county in Michigan, right? You guys hear about this? So, and a county clerk spotted this. The voting machine had changed 3,000 votes from Trump to Biden. And she caught it. And so that's a 6,000 vote swing. So you take 3,000 away from Biden, add 3 to Trump. Okay. This machine was used in 42 counties in Michigan and in 21 states. I saw a video last night showing a woman taking over this machine within 2 minutes by pulling out something, unplugging it, opening it up, and then switching, getting administrative rights to it. It's just like being able to take over somebody's computer, knowing the password, okay? And you can change, if you have administrative rights, you can change the settings inside the machine. She did in 2 minutes, okay? I don't know if there's any truth to it. Of course, Twitter put a little thing on there, you know, and Facebook put a little thing on there, right? You know what I'm talking about, the little censor thing, you know, hey, this may not be true. Okay. And it may not be, I don't know. Arizona's down to 11,000 votes. Trump's down by 11,000 with, I think, somewhere around 30,000 left to go. Now, a lot of these are provisional ballots. So what happened, guys, is they sent mail-in ballots out, okay? Some people sent their mail-in ballots back in, but weren't sure if they were counted. So they showed up and voted on election day. They filled out a provisional ballot in case their mail-in ballot wasn't counted, okay? So they're going through those provisional ballots to see whether they need to count them or not. That takes time, okay? So that's kind of what's going on. We have lawsuits in several states. Georgia's doing a full recount. Wisconsin's going to do a full recount.
Well, Michigan.
Not sure yet. There's a lawsuit in Michigan too. One of the biggest things is Philadelphia. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In Philadelphia, which is the second most populated city, each campaign is allowed to have observers to watch the votes being counted. Okay. In Philadelphia, they kicked out the Trump campaign from watching, kicked them out of the room, which is against the law. And they counted 350,000 ballots while they were outside the room. A federal judge signed an order saying, you need to let these observers back in within 6 feet. Okay, and then they still didn't let them back in. There's video evidence of this. Those 350,000 votes could either be thrown out or recounted. That will be determined by the Supreme Court. What happens in Philadelphia, okay? You had a water main break in Fulton County, Georgia, one of the largest counties in Georgia. It's Atlanta. They stopped counting that night of the election, okay? And people are claiming that all these ballots showed up overnight. And almost all of them were for Trump, or for Biden, excuse me. Same thing happened in Michigan. I don't know. I go like this. I'm like, maybe Trump's got a chance. I don't think so. I don't know. I really don't know. Now, one thing's for sure, you're not hearing any of this on any of the networks, including Fox News. Okay? Fox News, when they called Arizona election night, way early, and now it's down to 11,000 votes. Okay? They called it that night. And Fox News just pissed off a bunch of conservatives. Their ratings are down 50%. People are like boycotting Fox News. So CNN, NBC, none of these channels are reporting anything that Trump is saying or that his campaign is saying. The only way you're going to find out this information is where? Where are you hearing it? You were kind of shaking your head. You heard about some of this stuff, but social media, yeah. Twitter for me. Twitter, you can go just search Arizona vote count. And then you've got people in Arizona posting that information, like the latest updates, and you can say latest and find out, what's happened in the last 15 minutes. So it's way more, accurate and timely. Okay. So I don't know, guys. We'll keep an eye on it. Look, the Senate, Republicans have 50 seats. They just won one in North Carolina. Cunningham versus Tillis, the most expensive Senate race in American history, over $100 million. So Republicans have 50. There's 2 Senate seats that are still up, and they're both in the same state. Anybody? Huh? Georgia. In Georgia, you've got to get 51%. You've got to get a majority. Okay? And they had multiple candidates. Okay? So check this out. 2 Senate seats. Okay? This is huge, guys. I don't know if you understand how important this is. Okay? In Georgia, this guy Perdue, who was running for re-election, okay, got 49.7% of the vote. He's got to get 50.01%. The other Senate race, nobody even got close to 50%. So they're having a special election on December 7th for these 2 seats. This will determine the outcome of the Senate. Why is that important? The Democrats control the House. And if Biden does win, they control the White House. That means his agenda will either get through Congress or be stopped in the Senate. Okay? So, guys, his COVID advisor, Biden's COVID advisor came out yesterday. Anybody hear what he said? Nationwide lockdown for 4 to 6 weeks will get us back in good shape. How long was the first lockdown?
6 months.
No, it was over the summer, right?
It was March.
4 months? You came back to school in August, right? September. March, April, close to 4 months. 4 to 6 weeks, shut everything down again. You get it under control. And then we go back to what? Another spike in February. You know what I mean? Guys, if they can get that through. Now, so 50 seats for the Republicans. If the Democrats win those 2 seats in Georgia, they'll control the Senate because it'll be 50-50. Biden wins, Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote, vice president. Okay? So Republicans got to win one of those 2 seats, or Trump's got to win. Yeah.
Also, someone thought it was a little weird that place had the vaccine. Like
Pfizer is a pharmaceutical company. They're saying 90% effective.
they said it was weird. It was like a day or 2 after they announced Biden was elected.
Oh yeah. So they knew about it before the election and didn't report it until after the election. Because if they told it before the election, who would have that helped? That would have helped Trump, right? It's like, hey guys, usually these vaccines take years to make. This will be done in less than a year, which is somewhat of a miracle, actually, if it is effective. Now, there's other companies doing it too. This Pfizer company, and they're with another company, are saying 90%. There's an article in today's paper, KU Med is testing the vaccine right now. They're starting to test it. Because it's got to be peer reviewed. You can't just like, all right, here you go. Yes, people volunteer. And then expose themselves to the.
Oh, yeah, they get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah. They pay like.
You're what? Is he really? Up there in Lawrence or around here? Yeah, there's always medical experience people you can get paid to do.
Don't do that. How much you get?
Hey, like,
You are a medical experiment. Sorry. Sorry.
That's how I was born.
Okay, so guys, the stakes here are incredibly high. Okay, now the Democrats are telling people they need to move to Georgia and become registered so that they can vote in this election on December 7th. Now, usually you have to be in a state for 30 days in order to register to vote, okay, to become a resident. Okay. So that's not going to work. Okay. But it is an interesting idea. Flood the state. That kind of reminds me of something in history. The Jayhawkers and the Border Ruffians. Remember that?
Yeah.
Civil War? Remember that? You can see people from Alabama coming in and people from New York and starting fights and burning down Atlanta. Wait, that was Sherman. Civil War.
The Jaywalkers, or Jayhawks were Missouri and Kansas.
Yeah, they were. Quantrill's Raiders. Quantrill's Raiders, right? Yeah. I was just talking about Georgia, right? And Atlanta is in Georgia, and somebody went down there and burned it. General Sherman during the Civil War. Remember that? Sherman's March to the Sea? No! And then he got to Savannah, Georgia, there on the coast, and he said, I can't burn this. It's too beautiful. And he preserved it. You ever get a chance to go to Savannah, Georgia, guys? It's a gorgeous city.
I've been.
Have you been to Savannah? Yeah.
My cousin was there.
So you need to go visit it. Beautiful.
He's kind of weird.
So you guys are cousins.
He comes here. He's just kind of weird.
Okay. All right, moving on. Okay, we've learned about reserve powers, right? Prevent the federal government from acting in areas they have no constitutional authority, like education. Wait a second. Does it give them the power to do education in this Constitution?
No.
Oh, it does, it does. Then why do we have a U.S. Department of Education? I don't get it. Somehow we survived till 1976 without one. If you elected me as president, one of the first things I would do was disband the U.S. Department of Education. Fire everybody in that building and send them home.
Who do they do that to?
No Child Left Behind, Race to the Top, Common
good
Core.
Common Core was terrible.
No, can't even leave children behind.
We'll handle it in the state, okay? Is this your food over here?
Yes.
Stucky tried to eat it, but I wouldn't
Did
let him.
not.
Wow. See ya.
See ya.
I wouldn't eat those.
Yeah, we do like fourth grade.
First teamer. Alexander Hamilton said, federalism is an additional check on the national government, okay? Now, this makes sense, right? Things that affect our daily lives, those decisions should be made at the local level. Education, fire protection, car registration, roads, libraries. Those are all done by state and local governments. Police forces, okay? These are policies that affect our daily lives. It involves more people in the decision-making process, okay? Rather than a few people in Washington, D.C. making these decisions, we're making them where we live, okay? Hate to lose that. We're running out of time.
That's 12 minutes.
Yeah, but I got a video I want to show you. I want to tell you a story. It's a good story.
What's it about?
Driving fast.
Ooh. That's curious.
Fast and furious. We're good here, Greenie? Good? Okay. Guys, this is a tug of war. It's a tug of war. Remember the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists? That was a tug of war. When it got to the Civil War, it was a tug of war that turned into an ugly tug of war. Okay? Over who got to decide. Okay? These are the fights we have. President Biden, if he's President Biden, wants to do a shutdown, a lockdown, and not allow the states to decide, forces all the states to shut down, will they abide? South Dakota, guys, never shut down. I like their governor. She's Naomi. She's cool. But anyhow, can they force the states to do it? Do you want the federal government to have that type of power? A national mask mandate? I don't know. That's a matter of opinion. Okay. Now, back in the 1970s, I wasn't, but there was this OPEC, which is the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, placed an oil embargo on the United States. They were pissed at us because of our relationship with Israel. Okay? So they cut us off. Now, in the 1970s, guys, we were not energy independent. We relied on oil from the Middle East, from Mexico, Venezuela, for our energy. Put gasoline in our cars to turn these lights on. And they cut us off. So in 1976, we had an energy crisis. They used to put little stickers on top of these light switches to make sure you turn off the lights when you leave. Save energy. Okay? And then on our gas situation, there were gas lines, gas shortages, and gas prices going up big time. So the federal government said to the states, you need to change your speed limit on your highways to 55 miles an hour. Or you don't get transportation money. Now, any of you guys take a road trip recently, the last couple of years, where you had to drive pretty far? Where'd you go, Stuck?
Savannah.
You drove to Savannah.
Yeah.
That's like 20 hours. 18 hours?
2 days.
2 days. Can you imagine doing that at 55 miles an hour? Horrible. Guys, it was awful. Wife's calling. Hi, honey.
Hey, honey.
You're-
Yeah, I just saw you tried to message me and call a bunch of times, but I saw the different address on there.
Okay, you're on speaker
Okay.
with my 7th hour.
Hello.
Oh, okay.
I was just telling them about, remember when the speed limit was 55?
Yeah,
How horrible that was?
being really slow. Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'm a little more passionate about it than you.
Not that I don't really, I mean,
When we moved to Kansas in 95, it was still 55.
yeah, that's too slow.
Yeah, thank you. I will see you over there at 4.
Very good.
All right, love you, honey. All right,
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
okay. She is nice. She's a good person. But anyhow, even though she woke me up at 1:30 this morning, we'll have that talk. 55! It was freaking horrible. Ask your parents about this, okay? You're driving to Savannah. It's not 2 days. It's 3 days, okay? Now, in 1994, remember when I told you the Republicans took over Congress for the first time in 40 years? Newt Gingrich, contract with America. They said, listen, Kansas is different than Rhode Island. Montana is different than New Jersey. Each state should determine their own speed limits. We don't have an energy crisis anymore. Okay? So I remember the day in 1996. I was going back to school. I'd moved here in 95, and I was working as a para out at Mays. So I'd take K96. You know that road out to Mays, okay? It was 55, okay? Well, I remember the morning when they were taking down the 55-mile-an-hour sign and putting up 65. Now it's 70, okay? And I was honking my horn at the workers putting up the sign, yelling out the window, yeah! Federalism! I didn't yell federalism.
Why didn't you go 65 and 55?
Well, I did, but now I drive 75 and then 70. Right? Right?
No.
Wrong?
80.
Now, in 1984, when this was law, there was this rock and roll guy named Sammy Hagar. He wrote a song about it. You know what that song was? I can't drive.
Can't drive. It? I can't drive.
I can't drive
Can't drive 55.
55.
2,000 trade assist cash on select Ford
Let
SUVs.
me introduce you to
Ford,
Sammy
built for the
Hagar,
holidays.
1984. Okay. Yeah, that's the 80s, man. We dressed weird. 70s was worse. You did? Oh, parachute pants, spandex. Oh, it was awful. At least we didn't have skinny jeans like you people.
I can't fit the skinny jeans.
Oh, man. Yeah, tube socks, short shorts. Now, the short shorts are coming back,
Oh, they're back.
which is awful. Remember, in the 80s, 90s, you had the long shorts go down to the knees or over the knees. That's how I still wear them. I can't wear that short stuff, man. That looks so bad. You like the short shorts?
Yeah. Need to bring back crop tops. Huh?
I think the mullet should come back.
It's already back.
I don't know.
That's not a mullet.
That's not a mullet.
Now, Pasha, that kid had a mullet.
That's just gross. Yeah.
Mullet's
Dude.
coming back.
I love the mullet.
I'm getting one.
I had a
It's just-
sweet
his
mullet.
looks so- his Not the looks patient terrible. mullet.
Yeah.
The patient mullet looks terrible.
Dude, you got to do the perm in the back. That's the mullet,
It's
man.
stupid. It's like 75 over here, like,
Your hair is cool.
All right, guys.